Hello. Uh, my usual Mandela vlog. Okay, well, I see all these new, uh, strange new things happening around in this world. Like, I just watched a video recently about this one woman who looked up the history of CERN and found out that CERN has been around since like the 50s and that they've been trying to do this thing since the 50s. I I have no idea. I've never growing up in like the 80s and stuff like that, because they say that a lot of this stuff that they advertise on that site is, like, they say it's an alternate history because there's a lot of things in there that are questionable. Uh, like I said, I don't have an actual computer, so I can't really show you links yet. I mean, I'm working on getting a computer. I know you're probably laughing at him saying, "Who the hell doesn't have a computer?" Well, not all of us are rich like you people. Just kidding. I don't want to. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be that guy. But anyways, whenever I get these like odd headaches of mine, like whenever I try to figure out certain things, like now, to me, like CERN is saying that the internet was invented by them. World Wide Web, they called it the World Wide Web back then. And I don't remember the internet back then, 89, 88, like 89. Like, I remember internet coming into fruition like during the late 90s and early 2000s. I mean, a good example of residue would be the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back movie, because I mean that's a kind of a bad example, but because those characters aren't the brightest. Well, they're not supposed to be the brightest, but they don't know what the internet was, like something like that. And like, if the internet has been around since '89, wouldn't everybody know about it? Like, it's. I mean, you never hear stories about people saying shit like, "Oh, I found this awesome website in 1991." Like, I don't know. They're saying like there's only like a hundred websites back then, something like that. I don't know. But anyways, as I said, when I get like trying to overanalyze things, like think about it, remember, use my brain to remember it, I get headaches. Like, it just bugs me. So I got what I like to call a security blanket. Although it's not really a blanket. I mean, I know you're probably thinking there, he's got a blanket behind him, that's a security blanket. No. This is what I mean by a security blanket. Whenever I get frustrated from all the facts on CERN, or the facts on, yeah, I know I got dirty nails, I gotta clean them. But the facts on CERN and the facts on Mandela, I look back at this picture because it's of simpler times, like before flat screens, before computers and internet and everything. Like, there's a picture of me when I was a kid. It's probably from like 82, maybe 83, 84. I'm not too sure, but I look at this picture and I figure, is the reason why I call it my security blanket is because everybody says everything is changing these days. And so I go to this thing, and this is my security blanket. Nothing's changed. My shoes are still the same. My socks are still the same. Like, it's just a reminder that you haven't changed. You're normal. This is reality. This is existence. You're not going crazy. That's my security blanket. To go back to this, like, if something changed in this picture, then I'd really be amazed. But like I said, there's nothing really odd in this picture. Like, the only thing I would say would be odd is if this magazine changes from what it is. And the magazine in this picture is a Auto Trader. I don't know how old it is, but it's an auto trader. Like, if it changes to like a People magazine or any other kind of magazine, I know something's different. But yeah, this is my security blanket. I go back to this whenever I get stressed out because it takes me back to simpler times when I was a kid before I had all these problems about worrying about, is this real? Is this not real? Am I in a matrix? Is this real? Like, these days I'm catching myself actually pinching myself just to see if I'm dreaming. But yeah, like, if you can relate, cool. Good on you. If you can't, don't troll me with a whack comment saying, yeah, I'm going crazy. Like, I mean, internet trolls these days are terrible. Like, all they do there is get you to argue with them, and I don't like to argue. Like I said, if you would fucking troll my page, like leave a comment, call me an idiot or something, I will not argue back. I'll just delete it. So if you're gonna troll me, at least make it good or something. Make it reasonable for something for me to say something to you, other than just calling me an idiot. Because if you just call me an idiot, I'm just gonna delete you. Like, seriously. And all these people that are coming out like, oh, there's this facts and these truths and these false truths, like, but I mean, it's getting so bad, like, we can't even trust Google. Everybody goes to Google for all their answers, like, go to this, go to that, go to this, go to that. But Google these days has been basically agreeing with the Mandela effect. Like, there's no way to find out who is telling the truth. Because everybody says, oh, go to Google. Google has your answer. No, it doesn't. Google is part of the Mandela effect, in my eyes, I say. Because, like, there's certain stuff I Googled back then, and the facts came up the way I remember them. And now all of a sudden you Google them again, and it tells you something totally different. You can't even get a straight answer nowadays. Like, instead of giving you an answer, I remember when I first tried Google, it used to give you an answer. It would bring up one of the main. Granted, it does bring up every other thing connected to that question, but the first example they give you is the answer to your question. Nowadays, they just give a bunch of examples leading off to other questions in general. Like, you can't even. Anybody else notice this strange phenomenon with Google? Like, you can't get a straight answer from it. It'll just give you a bunch of examples instead of one answer. I remember one time you ask it a simple question like, "What time is it?" It'll come up with a simple answer. Nowadays, it comes up with like it'll come up with a simple answer. If you have your city or your town programmed, it'll automatically come up and say, this is the time in your city. But nowadays, you say, what time is it? It'll give you times all over the world, like, not one specific time. Even if you do program where you're from in the city, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but whatever. If you're going to leave a comment, make it a genuine comment. Don't be rude. I hate rude people. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can be rude at times too, but I keep that to myself. Like, I was raised with the thought put in my head that if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Common sense. I mean, like, I always think before I say shit. Like, I don't just. Sometimes I automatically blurt it, but if I know if I know what I'm gonna blurt would either offend the person or shock the person, 9 times out of 10 I either say, what's the word? How would you say it? Like, no offense, that kind of thing. Like, although I had a lot of people arguing, saying, "Oh, you can't say no offense if I am going to be offended." Like, I don't know who came up with that saying, but yeah, that's my Mandela vlog of the day. Maybe I'll go out today and try to look for some residue I'm not too sure. I'll figure it out. Have a good year. Much love. Whoop whoop.